The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Around 100 diplomatic protests have fallen on deaf ears as China's continued presence in the West Philippine Sea caused problems to Filipino fishermen in the area. Mobile journalist Stanley Gahete gives us a front seat to the story.
China had fired a flare at a Philippine Air Force plane flying over Union Banks in the Spratly Group of Islands in June, National Security Advisor Hermogenes Esperon revealed on Friday. The plane was monitoring movements of Chinese vessels in an area where the Philippines has no presence in the West Philippine Sea. Early this year, China deployed 200 vessels in an unmanned shoal within Union Banks.
I recall of an incident last June, this June 2021. When flares, not gunshots or any other caliber, that was fired at an armed forces aircraft which was patrolling the Union Banks. China has 2 detachments and Vietnam has 3 detachments there in that Union Bank. We indeed launched diplomatic protest.
Since 2016, when President Rodrigo Duterte assumed office, nearly 100 diplomatic protests were made by the Department of Foreign Affairs, which China had all ignored and even stepped up its bullying. Unknown to many, Esperon said the Philippines was doing its best to protect the country's maritime claims in the South China Sea, despite the president's rhetoric not to confront China. Esperon, who is also the head of the National Task Force on the West Philippine Sea, said the military, Coast Guard, and Bureau of Fisheries continue to patrol and assist Filipino fishermen confident of its sovereign claims after its victory at The Hague in 2016.
When you talk about the West Philippine Sea and our Kalayaan Island Group, which we have not given up, you will see that our maritime domain is quite large. But within that claim are also features that are already occupied and which we continue to not recognize.
However, China continued to violate the country's 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone by deploying its navy and fishing vessels in our sovereign seas.
And they were allowed to go to the area even within the 12 nautical miles. And later on, we would see small support fishing boats getting inside the Baho de Masinloc.
Local fishermen were at the receiving end as China blocked access to traditional fishing ground like Baho de Masinloc and around Pag-asa Island in the Spratlys. For instance, 42-year-old Larry Hugo videotaped a Chinese vessel harassing local fishermen near Pag-asa Island. However, the government denied the harassment incident happened. The Department of Agriculture acknowledged the local fishermen's problem because of declining catch.
We have to do a lot of balancing act and support just to make sure that our fisher folk, when they go back to the base, would be able to still feed their family.
5 years after winning its arbitration case against China, local fishermen still do not have access to rich fishing grounds in the West Philippine Sea. China has increased its presence to gain control of almost the entire South China Sea. The Philippines may have also increased its presence, but it has a limited number of ships to guard the country's sovereign waters and assist local fishermen. As tension between the Philippines and China rises in the West Philippine Sea, it's the local fishermen that are caught in the crossfire. If the situation continues, they may be forced to look for other livelihood and abandon the seas. I am Stanley Gahete and we are One News.
Now, as the government struggles to look for more funds for its pandemic response, President Duterte changes his stance on gambling, lifting the 3-year ban on new casinos. The president even wants to open casinos in Boracay. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez gives us a front seat to the story.
Vaccinate all the call center workers now. That's what some local government units and industry groups are calling for. In Taytay, Rizal, Mayor Jorik Gacula says most of their recent COVID-19 cases are employees of business process outsourcing or BPO firms that are based in Manila, many of them between 20 to 45 years old.
medyo tumaas yung sector na yan dahil nga sila yung everyday nagko-commute, nagtatrabaho sa Metro Manila na exposed sa COVID-19 infection.
The country's call center industry is the second largest in the world and employs more than 1.2 million people. They're considered an essential industry and allowed by the government to keep operating even during ECQ. And because of the surge in India, more companies are expected to move here.
We closed 2020 with 23,000 more jobs. Some of the companies abroad have shifted their operations and possibly 50,000 additional jobs and probably 180,000 additional jobs in the next 2 years.
Salvador says one of the other things attracting talent to the industry is the work-from-home scheme. Call centers registered in PEZA eco-zones have been given until next year to continue this arrangement.
Our clients have seen that there are other benefits to working from home. Increased productivity, providing job opportunities beyond Metro Manila.
The group says in future, most companies will likely employ a hybrid setup, wherein a portion of the staff will continue working from home, while others have to go to the office. I'm Pamela Vasquez and we are One News.
In response to that, young professionals, students, academics, and other sectors of youth groups are gathering to form a group against the expansion of casino operations in Boracay. To tell us more, we have with us this afternoon former Kalibo Mayor and Publishers Association of the Philippines Chairman Emeritus, Mr. Johnny Dayang, is joining us via Zoom. Sir Johnny, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Risa. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon, Sir Johnny. Sir Johnny, why is the youth of Aklan against the opening of casinos in Boracay?
Yes, there exists, Risa, a group in the island of Boracay, which is part of Aklan, about the opening of casino in Boracay that has been closed for some time, about 3 years ago. Now it's going to be open, and we feel that it will not serve right to the people of Aklan or to the prime destination of the country, tourism destination of the country, which is Boracay, to be the center of operations of casino. So I think we should oppose this, and there exists growing opposition among our people about the danger of having casino to operate again. We have so many areas already that casino is being operated. And I think if casino will be probably operated in the island, it will change the complexion of the island's image. It will no longer be tourist and family recreation or destination area or destination center.
Sir Dayang, in your opinion, yes, sir, go ahead.
I think the inherently is a destructive. It will destroy the moral structure of our society. Gambling is not good for our people. It will create a lot of troubles. It will reduce the penury. Some people, it will confuse the direction and capacity of our people to something else. And it's unproductive. Gambling is unproductive. I think the history of our country will tell us that gambling is not really good. We have so many gambling operations already. We have Masiao, we have Lotto, we have so many other gambling operations. When I was director of the Philippine Charities Websites Office, we noted that it's not the only agency of the government that's operating gambling. Although sweepstakes is not a gambling enterprise per se, but it's not really, it should not be relied as the major earner for money of the country.
Mhm. Sir Dayang, with that being
So, I
said,
think
in your opinion, as former mayor of Calibo, Aklan, what businesses do you think are better for the island instead of a casino?
well, it can, Boracay has become a world famous island without casino operation. The businesses there, restaurants, hotels, boat touring, and other enterprises have grown without casino. It's a privately profited growth of the island. And our culture must have helped in the growth and development of the island as a world tourism center. So why introduce a harmful gambling operation in the island when it's already doing well?
Well understood. Well, thank you, Sir Johnny, for sharing with us your insights and your time. That's, of course, Mr. Johnny Dayang, former mayor of Aklan.
Thank you very much, Risa. I'm calling upon as Chairman Emeritus of the Publishers Association of the Philippines, our countryside media colleagues to be discerning in opposing casino operation in the respective areas. Thank you very much, Risa.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day. Now, in other news, the St. Luke's Medical Center Employees Association expressed its disappointment over the health department's blame game on private hospitals. In an interview with 1PH sa Totoo Lang, St. Luke's Employees Association President Jao Plumia defended the hospital management, saying that they have supported health workers since the start of the pandemic. Plumia adds that the hospital has provided assistance to them during the lockdown when the government failed to do so. This comes after Health Secretary Francisco Duque III blamed the private hospitals for the late release of benefits of health workers.
Nakakalungkot din ako pag papakinggan mo yung DOH, parang lagi nilang sinisisi ay si management. Pero ako yung kusisihin si management kasi mula nag-umpisa ang pandemya, talaga naman pong sumuporta sila doon sa amin, no? Kahit walang binigay na ayuda ang gobyerno, kahit pa merong bayanihan na noon, yung Bayanihan 1.
Plumia also said that the situation in St. Luke's Medical Center remains hard. He noted that nurses on duty in the COVID wards have to endure the heat as they wear full gear PPEs for long hours. However, they still haven't received their ECQ cash aid and other benefits intended for health workers.
So ang pinaka-problema talaga sa amin sa ngayon, natapos na yung ECQ, wala pa rin kaming ayuda at yung transportation, yun ang pangunahing problema sa ngayon.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 1 in the afternoon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.